Greetings, everybody. This is Star-Lord Man from the Replica Prop Forum coming at you with another update on my Star-Lord build. What we're looking at right here is the inside of the right sleeve where the valve would go. As you can tell by the circuitry placard sitting there underneath my tube of E6000 industrial adhesive. Let's start with that adhesive. If you use this stuff, open a window and turn on a fan. I'm dead serious. It's pretty toxic. Smells pretty bad too. All right, enough said about that. So what I haven't shown you in pictures, I'll just tell you. Now that that line has dots around it. That was just a reference from when I was holding the placard on the other side of that leather. I just kind of pinched it and held onto it. And it dawns on me now that I probably could have taped it in place, but the act of turning the sleeve inside out would probably have dislodged the tape. So while holding it in place like that, take your Sharpie and make dots. I made dots at the intersection of where the circuitry meets the disc, one at the top of the disc and at the end of both circuits. Next slide, we see a very accurate representation of how it should be placed. And now you may notice the dotted lines there. I'm going to go back and forth here. The dotted lines represent the fold on the panel that comes down the outside of the bicep and terminates just below the elbow. We're going to go back to that other picture. And as you can see, those dots are where that seam is, so you know where to place the placard. On Chris Pratt's jacket, it actually goes up underneath that little fold there, or that panel. All right, that's enough yapping out of me. I'm going to let you guys get to the video. Thanks for listening and enjoy. All right, I sort of got ahead of myself before I started doing this video. As you can see, my E6000 is dripping onto the placard I plan to use, and it's already on the mat. Yeah, that's just brilliant. Me. If you have a tube of E6000 laying around and you know what this stuff is made of, it's just a pain in the butt. Sometimes you get the cap off, so always have a pair of those laying around. You may see there's a discoloration here. It's because I took a little bit of water and I'm letting it soak into the backside of the leather, because that is what's going to allow you to get this lovely bit of embossing going on, right? Right. While it's still kind of wet, I'm just going to blot it a little bit, trusting that the moisture is going to be inside of the leather. It actually is. I had originally applied some glue right here and then had to scrape it off because I forgot to moisten it first. So I'm going to put it on the placard now. Nice, big, gumpy amount of glue. Do not be afraid to use a lot of this stuff. And once you put it on, it will spread out. And I'm going to get the tendrils here, the circuits, if you will. I always wonder what this piece was in the movie. I mean, there's a valve, and I'm like, oh, it's like a spacesuit. So he probably connects some kind of air hose to it. And then I see him jump out into space. Oops. I don't want to get this on my fingers, so I'm just going to go take a little bead around the edge here, making sure to avoid my fingers. This stuff, by the way, does not smell good. It is glue. It's industrial strength adhesive, ladies and gentlemen. So always work in a ventilated area, like I am not currently right now. It's just because I just opened up the window. Airplane. Go figure. All right, here we go. Just gonna place that thing down, and voila. There's enough glue on here to adhere the placard to the leather. Doesn't necessarily mean there's enough glue on here to adhere the leather to the edges of the placard. So we're going to go around the edge here and leave a nice little bead, trusting that when we start molding from the opposite side with more moisture, it will contact the edge of the placard and stay in place. Get a lot right in there. We go. Now I hear you saying, "What the? Well, if you turn that right side out, it's going to go all over, the lining, and we don't want that." Well, take some of this here paper towel and give it a little bit of a bias tape thing here. Just do this, fold it in on itself a little bit, because at the end of the day, what I'm going to do is tear all this tape off and put new tape on to protect it. One. This stuff never, ever, ever tears correctly. All this while, the glue is doing its thing in there, doing a chemical bond. There we go. All right, so now that's definitely on there. So I can start working on the other side. It's the tricky part because you got to realize where, okay, that's where it is. I can feel it with my hands on the other side. So I'm pressing it into my palm there, just making sure that the glue starts to adhere. Okay, hold on. Where the heck? Oh, it's right here. I'm trying to find the cuff. Okay. If I did this right, it should just come right out. Woo! Okay. Already we can see some of the moisture from the other side. See that darken right there? We're going to do some more from this side and really give it a good soaking on this side while we're starting to work on it. Now, what I did for the opposite side, it was such a great amount of work. By great, I mean a massive space. I took a book and shoved it inside the sleeve, but I don't know that this book is going to reach all the way down the sleeve there. This is not exactly tapered, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I need to find a paperback, something a little smaller. How about my phone? Yeah, why not? What the hell? Okay, so if you call me right now, I'm not picking up. Simple. Besides, it's Gorilla Glass, it's a Samsung, it could take the beating. When I press down, I can see a bubble come up here. That would be the glue moving around, which is fine, because you can adjust accordingly. Use the end of a jeweler's screwdriver to really get in there. You know, last time I did this, I was like trying to be so meticulous, and now it's just a matter of, okay, I think I could stretch the leather. I used a paintbrush the last time, and what that did was it scratched the leather, so I'm being a little more careful about it this time around. When massaging the glue into this, I use my fingernails, but I want to make sure that I don't scratch, because again, it'll take the surface off of the leather itself. Let's just use this. There we go. A Newt Sole, that's just been in my tape drawer. Move that phone a little bit. Pull back that seam and just press. Alright, so what I've done, I walked across I was going to go into the library and find a book. I'll take this one out, take this notepad I found, and put it behind there instead, because then, there we go, it's a little easier for me to work with now. Good and flat. Covers the whole surface. I can feel the edges of the notepad out to here. I think I know a little bit more, I think. There we go. So remember when I shoved the whole thing that way, all this wrinkling happened. So I'm going to push the leather into the crease so we get a good even distribution. Yeah. And as I'm doing this little piece right here, I'm being gentle. I'm not pressing too hard. Because eventually, once this leather dries, and once the glue dries, I don't have to worry about slippage. And all of this will just wear out over time. Okay, thumb. I want to get in there. And I'm seeing the glue still move around in there, so I'm going to push harder, get the glue to get to the edges, so I can get the edges. There we go. Oops. All right, at this point, I think I need to distribute the glue off the surface of the placard and to the edge. And now, most of this is going to get covered with the valve, which I don't have on me right now. That's a blade. I'm risking a little bit here just to get that piece, but that's going to be sort of hidden up in there. There we go.